Hi, Nancy.
Welcome, everyone, to our Valley Santa Clarita. I am your co-host, Nancy Angel, and this is my fabulous co-host,
Bill Miranda.
Bill, today is an amazing day, don't you think?
I think it's an amazing day. But before you get to that,
What?
touch it.
Bill, he told me to ask him this during filming. What are you wearing?
I am wearing a 100% cashmere jacket that I got at Closet on Main Street in Newhall. You do not want to know what I paid for this 100% cashmere jacket. Closet on Main Street in Newhall. Go there.
Can you ask me what I'm wearing?
Yes.
I am wearing a fabulous dress from Ross that my mom picked out for me. Anyways, like I said, today is an important day and today is a fabulous day because we have a special guest with us today.
Very special.
Very. His name is Jorge Gutierrez, and you might not know that name because it's a very common Mexican name, which is okay, but he is the writer and the director of the animated movie, which is called The Book of Life, which was nominated for a Golden Globe, so we have the privilege of having him here with us today, so you don't want to miss this exclusive interview with Jorge Gutierrez from The Book of Life.
My relationships were affected by my addiction in ways that are almost hard to describe. I lost that trust and that sense of intimacy that you have with your family.
Everyone says that, oh, it's just a plant, like you can't get addicted to it, but like really, it is addictive. If you're doing it all day, like every day, it's just like, that's all your life consists of is smoking weed, like then it's addictive.
Think your son is, you'll never know, because it is hard to hide, but if you try hard enough, you can conceal it. There's no face to addiction. Like, your next door neighbor could be an addict and you have no idea.
The people we deal with are great people. They're just making bad choices. So if we can help people make better choices, everybody wins.
And I love you very, very much.
Antwerp, Belgium, the diamond capital of the world. To assure the highest quality diamonds at the best possible prices, Classic Designs Jewelry travels to Antwerp to buy directly from the diamond cutter.
Hi, I am Apoy Sayan from Classic Designs Jewelry. Belgians have cut diamonds for centuries. That's why the finest diamonds come from Antwerp.
For the perfect diamond at the perfect price, come to Classic Designs Jewelry in Valencia.
Rancho Camulos, Ventura County's first historical landmark, was a Mexican land grant awarded in 1839. History lives on at the 13-acre museum of Rancho Camulos. Take a tour highlighting the rancho's operation under 3 generations of the Del Valles. Visit the birthplace of Ventura County's first working winery and learn about the mysterious history of Helen Hunt Jackson's Ramona. Visit ranchocamulos.org or call 805-521-1501 for information on tours, museum hours, and special events. Located off the 126 in Piru, Rancho Camulos, where hospitality calls home.
Welcome back, guys. Like I said, today is a very important day because in front of me right now, we have Jorge Gutierrez. How are you, Jorge?
I'm doing great. Thank you guys for having me. I'm super honored to be here.
Welcome, welcome.
I'm the honored one, if I'm honest with you. Like I said, you're a very inspirational person. Your story and the way that you came about with this movie really spoke to me. But for people who don't know what The Book of Life is, can you tell us a little bit more about what this movie is about?
Oh, absolutely. It's a big animated movie done by Real Effects and 20th Century Fox. And it's a big family film, obviously very inspired by Mexican culture and specifically El Día de los Muertos, the Day of the Dead. And it's sort of a tale inspired by Greek mythology and all these things that happen in my family. But it's basically about a bullfighter who wants to play the guitar. And there's a love triangle in the movie. And so lots of things happen to him, and he gets to travel to different magical worlds, the land of the remembered, the land of the forgotten. and he goes on this journey, but it's a journey to find himself. And so it's a very feel-good family film. I could not be more proud of the movie, and I really hope everybody gets a chance to see it.
You said something very interesting when the cameras weren't rolling that you said you were very proud of. Can you tell the viewers what you're so proud of this movie, what you just found out?
What do you mean?
You found out that...
oh, yeah. Well, one of the craziest things about the movie is, the movie's made $100 million all over the world, but what's been amazing is we found out it was the most illegally downloaded film of 2014. And it's the most bootlegged film in the history of Latin America. So I collect all the bootlegs, and I'm a filmmaker, so I'm happy that people get to see the movie.
So you're proud, basically.
I feel like,
awesome.
Yes. Yes, I am.
And your movie not only made $100 million worldwide, but it was actually nominated for a Golden Globe, which is why I had the opportunity to meet you and speak with you, before the show and actually months ago, because your film was nominated for a Golden Globe.
It was a huge, crazy honor. And as cool as all the award stuff was, the best thing that's happened is we get messages from parents and kids from all over the world. And a lot of these messages are beautiful and heartbreaking. Kids talking about maybe their mom or their dad passed away, and the movie has helped them sort of connect with them in a way. And to me, that's better than any award. I mean, that has really sort of affected me, and especially now that I'm a dad, it's really sort of made me realize how important these films can be, and especially if they have a message or they have a real heartbeat inside of them. If we can help kids and we can make the world a little bit better with our movies, that's all you can ask for.
I think it's very amazing that you kind of bring about this point, because in actuality, you've kind of had this concept of the Book of Life for many years.
Yeah.
And you had a special person that kind of inspired you to, which was one of your friends, correct?
Absolutely. So when I was a kid, I was 9 years old, my best friend was named Mauricio, and unfortunately he passed away. And like a lot of kids, I didn't know what to make of it. I was really angry at the world. And my mom sat me down and explained Day of the Dead. She said, Jorge, Mauricio, he's not here, but he's here. And I was like, what do you mean, Mom? She said, he's here because we're talking about him.
Mm-hmm.
So always tell his story, always tell his jokes. On your birthday, invite him. On Christmas, buy him a present. And on November 2nd, he's gonna come visit you. And as long as you talk about him, he's here.
Right.
And so years went by, and that's what I did. I grabbed onto that idea, and eventually, I proposed to my wife on Day of the Dead because I wanted him to be with me that night.
Absolutely. Isn't that awesome? Isn't your story awesome?
And so, thankfully, she said yes. And at that point, I said, well, I want to get married on Day of the Dead because I want him to be my best man. And so this is now in Tijuana. And we went to every church, and basically all the priests would say, no, that's too weird. We're not going to do that. So we had to talk to a cardinal who said, I'm not going to marry you on that day, but I want to hear why you want to get married on that day, which no other priest would ever let us get that far.
Right.
And so I told him the story, and he was a big guy, and like a tear came out of his eye, and he said, I'll marry you that day.
Oh.
So we got married on Day of the Dead, and I swear he was there, and every family member that had passed away from both sides of the family, I feel like they were there. They were with us. So after that happened, I said, I want to make a movie to showcase this beautiful tradition and this idea that as long as we tell the stories of those who are not with us, as long as we sing their songs, we cook their favorite dishes, we tell their jokes, they're here. They're here with us. And the moment we don't say their names, the moment we don't talk about them, then they really are gone. And so that's how we keep people alive.
That's awesome. But you did get a lot of pushback when you wanted to create the concept. So are you a firm believer that timing is everything? Because you've had this concept for a really long time, and people were not open and accepting to it. Can you tell us why?
Yeah, I mean, the movie was inspired by a short I did here at Cal Arts, here in Valencia. And
Let me interrupt you just a second.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, George is a graduate of Cal Arts College.
Yes, I was here from 96 to, well, actually from 94 to 2000. I did my BFA and then my master's.
We'll talk more
We'll
a little
talk
bit
about
of
more,
that
yeah.
during the second segment because that's also inspirational. I kind of want you to know his story of that. This is why I've been so excited that he's talking to us. So during the second segment, we're going to talk about his stay at CalArts and kind of like his journey. But let's get back to the pushback.
So I start pitching the movie, and I say it's about Day of the Dead, and pretty much every executive in town would say, whoa, we don't want to make a zombie movie.
Mm-hmm.
And so it took a lot of explaining, like, no, Day of the Dead is the opposite of zombies. It's loving, it's a celebration of life. It's remembering those who are not with us. And at that time, this is the year 2000, I was told there's no interest for films about Latino content.
Right.
There's no interest, especially now, in a movie that appeals to Latin America. I was literally told that.
Right.
And so the world changed, right? Now, 2012, Latin American box office is pretty much one of the most important box offices in the world.
Yes.
The Latino audience in the US has exploded. I mean, the last Fast and the Furious had like 60% Latino audience.
I know, I read that story.
Yeah.
I was amazed myself.
Disney just had a thing in Las Vegas where they said, consumer products, if you are ignoring the Latino market, you are shooting yourself in the foot.
We were just talking about that.
Yeah. So the world changed. Hispanics are so loving, they have a lot of babies. And so the audience just grew. And thanks to that happening, we got to make the Book of Life. So the world changed. It was all timing.
Timing is perfect, right? Don't you believe that?
Absolutely. Good job. Good book. Good story. Good film.
Oh, thank
And
you.
you could hardly get into the community center when you were over here showing the movie and speaking.
Oh, it was crazy. It was awesome.
I couldn't get in. So tell me a little bit more about once the movie got created and the reception, from the audience.
Well, it was, it was my first movie. So opening weekend, I went to see it 9 times. I would just go into the theater, sit in the back, and listen to what jokes landed, what jokes didn't land. I kind of got in trouble because, as you guys can imagine, in little kid movies, kids, as soon as the movie's done, they run to the bathroom, right?
Right.
So that's what I would do. I would run to the bathroom to listen to what the kids are saying about the movie.
Right.
So at one of the screenings, the security guard was like, "You're not going to the bathroom. Why are you following all these kids to the bathroom?" And I had to go, I'm actually the director, and I just wanted to listen. And then I had to show my ID and everything.
Oh my God.
So I learned my lesson. Let the theater know that you're going to go into the bathroom to listen. But it was a very overwhelming experience, as you guys can imagine. I mean, I got to go to the premiere in Mexico City, and my father had always kind of questioned me doing animation, and so we have a strange relationship. And at the screening, he would, anytime something emotional in the movie would happen, he would grab my arm and squeeze it. And then at the end of the screening, he said, "Jorge," and it's a father-son story too. He said, "Jorge, this is the best conversation we've ever had." And I lost it,
Crying and everything.
yeah. And so it was a very, very emotional opening weekend.
That's so amazing. Like I said, there's so many layers to you. There is so much to you that I can't wait to pick your brain following next segment. But we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we're going to be talking to George and kind of his journey through CalArts and kind of what inspired him to become an animator and to essentially the person that he is right now. And we're also going to talk about what he has in the works. So stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
Hi, I am Cesar Milan with Junior. In Santa Clarita, we love our dogs. And in our role as pack leaders, it is important that we do everything to keep our pets safe and healthy. This is why it is so important to license your dog through Los Angeles County Animal Control. Licensing your dog will make it possible for them to be returned to you in case they get lost or stolen. You will also get important reminders when your dogs are due for vaccination. Show your dog you care and license them today. I care about kids going in the right direction.
I care about being a positive role model.
We care about making our community a safer place to live.
We care about a career that makes a difference.
We work for the LA County Probation Department.
If you care, call or apply online at probation.lacounty.gov.
Welcome back to our Valley, Santa Clarita. If you just missed us, we are sitting next to Jorge Gutierrez, who is the writer and the director of the animated movie The Book of Life, which was nominated for a Golden Globe. And the reason why he's here with us today is because you're a former CalArts grad, is that correct?
Absolutely. I feel like I came to CalArts as a boy and I left a man. That's the school that, I mean, I was here 94 to 2000, so I got my bachelor's and my master's, and it was my dream to come to the school. Right. I mean, ever since I was 13, 14, I wanted to be an animator, and I would see all the documentaries where people would talk about the school, and so my grandfather and my dad saved up for years for me to come to the school, and I was told, you're gonna get rejected many times.
Right.
So I came as a junior in high school to apply to the school, with the plan that I would get rejected and then come back as a senior, get rejected again, and maybe by the third time I'd get in. And so I brought a portfolio full of cartoon drawings that I thought that's what the school wanted to see.
Right.
But then I also brought a painting portfolio that had all my paintings about Mexican wrestling and the chupacabras and Dia de los Muertos. And at that time, the head of the program was a man named Jules Engel, who's a very famous animator in the animation world. And he looked at my drawings and destroyed me. He said, "This is crap." He's from a Hungarian, Holocaust survivor, so he's really tough. So he was like, "This is crap, this is crap, crap, crap." And then he just destroyed me and said, "You're a copy machine. You're only drawing what you see in TV and in movies. This tells me nothing about who you are." And so he gave me my portfolio and I walked away heartbroken. And I accidentally, the universe looking out for me, I left my painting portfolio, and he goes, "Hey, sad guy, come back. You forgot this." So I come back, and he opens it, and the first painting I had was like skeleton mariachis playing the guitar, and his eyes got huge, and he said, and he started flipping, and he would go, "This is magic, magic."
So you went from crap to magic?
Yeah, crap to magic, like that. And so he lays out all my paintings, and he goes, "If you can make this move, you will be doing something no one's ever done."
He said that?
Yeah. And he said, "This tells me who you are. This is your soul. This is your essence. Do this. Don't do the stuff you think we want to see. Be yourself." And so I got into the school as a high school junior. So I go home and I tell my dad, and he does not believe me, that story.
Right.
And months go by, and I started thinking, well, maybe I hallucinated that story because I'm not getting any letters from the school saying anything. So 3 months go by, and I finally get my letter that I'm accepted. My parents said, "You have to finish high school. You can't just go like that."
Right.
So finally I get to the school, and my parents had been saving for at least 12 years. And so we had enough money for me to come 0.8 of a year. Not even a whole year. I was like, I'll figure out where I'm gonna eat somehow. But I told my dad, "Don't worry, I will go to the school and I will learn everything that needs to be learned in 1 year." And so I figured out you had to do a film a year, so a bachelor's degree would take you to do 4 films. And it was like 80 units. So like a crazy person, first day, I go in there and I signed up I got up to 62 classes before they figured out something crazy is happening with this guy. So I got sent to the dean's office, who became a dear friend, and he said, "Okay, Jorge, this is crazy. I told him my story, and he said, "I'll let you take 2 years worth of classes. And if you can get a high pass, because there's no grades, if you can get a high pass in every class, then you'll have earned your stay here." And that's what I did. I killed myself that first year. I didn't sleep. I made 5 shorts. I did the 40 units, and at the end of the year, the school gave me a full scholarship.
Full scholarship, and you got your bachelor's.
Yeah, I ended up doing my bachelor's in 3 years, and the school paid for it. And then by that point, I had made so many shorts about Mexican culture that the Mexican government, I applied to all these grants, and they said, we'll pay for your whole master's degree as long as you promise to always uphold Mexican culture, which I was already doing. And so when I graduated from the school, thankfully I didn't know anything. But at that point, a lot of teachers had told me, you keep making all this Latino stuff, you're gonna have a hard time finding work.
Right.
And one producer took me aside at a studio and said, you know, the only person who's gonna hire you is you. So you need to get your own show. You need to make your own movie because no one else is gonna hire you.
Absolutely.
And that became my mission.
That became your mission. Didn't I tell you
Great
he was amazing?
job.
Didn't I tell you he was amazing?
Bam! Bam!
Oh, you guys.
So you also had kind of success while you were at CalArts, but you kind of created a character. Is that correct?
Yeah, I made a little short over there called El Macho. And I always grew up, my grandfather was a very big influence in my life. And he would always tell me, machismo gets a bad rap, but there's a nobility to machismo. And he would say, a macho guy gets in lots of fights, but a super macho guy walks away from a fight. And he would say, like, the macho guy, obviously he's old school, so he would say, macho guy cheats on his wife. The super macho guy is faithful. So I always grew up with this, like, idea that to be super macho was the greatest thing. And so I created this character named El Macho that aspired to be super macho. And Sony Pictures bought my show right out of school, so that was the first thing I did. And I thought, this is the greatest country on earth. They just hire you to do your own stuff.
So you also have success with Nickelodeon because you are the creator of
El Tigre, The Adventures of Benny Rivera. And like all my stuff, that's a show I created with my wife, Sandra Kiwa, who's an amazing, amazing Emmy-winning designer who is from Mexico. And that was a show that was very much like everything we do, inspired by our lives. So when I was growing up, my dad is an architect, so he could draw. And my grandfather was a general in the Mexican army, which is not like the army here. I'll just say that. So I would go visit my dad, and he would be drawing houses, and I would say, Dad, can you draw me a dinosaur? And he would go, yeah, yeah. He'd put a piece of paper, draw me a perfect dinosaur, and then keep drawing houses. And to me, my dad had superpowers because he could draw. And I would go visit my grandfather, and the carpet of his office was red. It was always like really dark. He was always hushing on the phone. He had like a mural of a knight chopping the head off another knight. So I was like, whoa, my grandfather's a supervillain. And I love both of them. So my aunts would always say, Jorge, you're so much like your dad and you're so much like your grandfather. What are you going to be when you grow up? And that's what El Tigre is about. It's a kid whose dad is a superhero and whose grandfather's a supervillain. And he inherits both of their powers and has to decide if he's going to be good or evil.
Oh my gosh. That is amazing, right?
Fantastic.
So what do you have in the works right now? What is your life as of right now, and what are you doing?
So thanks to the Book of Life, there's tons of pressure now. And so,
but it's good pressure.
Which is good pressure, always good pressure. You know, as my father said, these are good problems to have. So they announced my new movie, and it's a kung fu space western. So,
wait a minute. Run that by me again.
Explain what a kung fu space western is.
There's kung fu in the movie. It takes place in the future, but there's robot horses and robots in the saloon. So it's a mix of all the cultures. And that's kind of what I see now. I see the world is getting smaller culturally in that everything is mixing. And I especially like it in food truck culture. You're starting to see Korean beef tacos and burritos with curry sauce and like all these hybrids of food from all over the world. And so that's what I want to do with my next film. I feel like now there's incredible things happening where cultures are coming together.
Absolutely. Do you have a name for it yet? Do you know when it's going to be done?
It's going to be done hopefully in 4 years. And they haven't announced a name because they're trying to get the rights to it. But as of now, it's just the Untitled Kung Fu Space Western.
You've been a busy man.
One of these days I'm going to take a break, but not today.
Not today. You cannot take a break today because you're still with us for 40 more seconds. Right, Bill? So you don't live in California. You live in Texas. Is that right?
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, I find it very ironic that I had to leave Mexico to make a movie about Mexico, and then I had to leave Hollywood to make a Hollywood movie.
Oh my gosh.
But I'll go anywhere where they'll let me make my stuff.
Will you ever come back to California?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the plan. The studio where I work is in Texas, but a lot of the stuff we do here in LA. So I feel like I have a foot in Texas and a foot in LA.
Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us. It's been great. It's been fabulous. We'll be right back.
I'm Dan Sturkle, General Manager for Nissan of Valencia. If you like your money as much as the next guy, we say hold on to it. Here at Nissan of Valencia, $99 down delivers any new or used vehicle in stock. Hard to believe? Here's our disclosure. Blah, blah, blah. Total from you, $99. Oh, and blah, blah, blah on approved credit. Bankruptcies, foreclosures, late pays, hey, it's all okay here. We have tons of banks vying for your business. Nissan of Valencia, home to the $99 down delivers. Hope to see you soon.
Know what?
What?
Since I got adopted, I've learned a lot about these humans.
I know. I mean, check out these two. It's Flirt City over here.
Yeah, I noticed that. It looks like my human is definitely into your human.
Oh, look! I think she's getting his number.
Nice.
Your human's got some sweet moves.
Takes after his dog. Oh, look, they're doing that thing where they put their arms around each other.
She kicked up a leg. It's like in the movies.
That's awesome. Looks like we're gonna be hanging out a little bit more.
It begins innocently enough. You don't return a phone call. You break a date at the last minute. But in fact, it's the beginning of a pattern. And soon, your friend with mental illness realizes you're avoiding them. But what if you knew that your friendship was the key to their recovery? Would you still lock them out of your life?
Welcome back to our Valley, Santa Clarita. So now, Bill, what did you think about Jorge Gutierrez and his story of perseverance, determination, and just never giving up? Because I know you like those types of stories.
I love those stories, and he had me almost in tears. And he had Virginia in the green room in tears. And he had a lot of other people in tears. Fantastic. Jorge, great job.
You are an inspiring person, and we want to take the time to thank you from the bottom of our heart that you were able to talk to us and kind of share with the world what you went through, because you are definitely an inspiration to me and to a lot of people that are probably watching this show. Don't you think, Bill?
I do. And we're going to try very hard. We don't know if we'll be successful, but we're going to try very hard to get Jorge and his Book of Life at our local Dia de los Muertos celebration in November at Eternal Valley Memorial Park.
But don't quote us on that one. We're still working on it, right, Bill?
We are.
Absolutely.
Because we believe todo es posible.
Todo es posible en esta vida.
Where mi casa es
Su casa. Until next time.
Bye-bye.
Our Valley, Santa Clarita. We create success for your business. This program is brought to you by Desert Drug Pharmacy. Fast, friendly, and personalized. Visit us today at Desert Drug Pharmacy.